Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen and today's Friday. So what do we do on Fridays? Oh, it's Floral Fridays here on my channel. And today we're doing a watercolor wisteria vine. Super easy. I go over this step by step. There's no need for tracing or anything like that. It's just, moving some color around with a couple of brushes. This is a very beginner wisteria tutorial. I'm not kidding when I say you guys can totally do this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'm totally curious to see if you like this kind of style, if you like the loose look, if you like more realistic. Love to hear about it. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial is up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, and a live stream on the top tier once a month for me. It's just a place people go and support my channel, which I appreciate so much. You can check it out right in 1 second in the right hand corner up here. So these beautiful purple wisteria blooms grow off the vine, and they usually come out in like the late, spring, like April, May. I saw them all over London. These beautiful homes, they like grow in vines all up and down the house facades, and I just thought today would be a perfect day to paint them. So let's get started. All right, guys, let me go over some supplies. I have a piece of Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper. It's a 9x12 taped down with some Scotch Magic tape on a thick piece of cardboard. I'll be playing with Princeton 12 Neptune series round and Princeton 8 long round Velvet Touch series. I'm just going to use this quick little, wash brush. This is the Hake brush, or the Hake, whatever you want to call them. Just to put some water down on my paper. I got my paper towels right here. I have water up here. I usually keep like 2 jars. And then, so we'll start off just drawing. Like wisteria is kind of like this cascading bloom that goes down. They kind of start in a bunch and kind of go in a triangle or upside down. And they're just like, I'm going to do a loose version of it. And I'm just going to make, just going to draw kind of like a little branch kind of coming here, going down, like out. So a branch is kind of coming down on an angle. Gonna be some leaves off of that, and then just kind of the cascading blooms will be in here. We're gonna wash all kinds of color in here and just put the blooms in. So get some water on whatever flat brush you have. I have this brush. Get it, fairly wet. I'll be using ultramarine blue, verdtier blue. Lilac color. I'm using some of my bright rose to mix in with that. And I'll be using the cadmium yellow deep and peacock blue to make green. So this is fairly wet. I'm going to give it a minute or two to dry. I'm going to put in some color. Okay, so I'm using my big brush for this. Mix up some color. I like the verdtier blue. Get this really loose. Or you could use cobalt blue, any kind of blue that you like. I'm also going to mix up some, going to take this bright rose, put this down here, just get this really loose. It's kind of mixed in with magenta, so it's a nice little combo. And then we have my ultramarine deep blue here, water this down. And I have the lilac color. Play around with that. If you mix the two, you get this nice little bluish purple kind of color tone. Right? You take this color and you mix it with the bright rose. You get a nice purple pink color. Let me play around with all these colors. So I'm just going to start just taking even some peacock here. Putting in some blues. That's a little too dark. Getting in more water, just kind of washing in some color, the verdtier blue color, just kind of washing in this color here. It's a little thick, so I'm just going to go back in and add some more water. See, I'm just dropping in color, some pink. Now, if it's dried, you can just kind of go back in and spray it. I'm going to add some more purple color in here. I'm just playing around with adding color in here on this section. I'm going to grab more water. Grab this blue color. Just really loosely sticking in these colors. Just having some fun with it. See that? Grabbing some blue. I'm still kind of keeping this area on the white side because I'm going to be putting in the bloom there. Just want to keep purples and blues, kind of playing around with that. Maybe add more ultramarine blue. That's a little darker down there. Probably don't want it as dark. All right, I might add some green, so I'm going to take my cadmium yellow deep, mix it with the peacock blue, get a nice like, bright green, and kind of bleed in some of that. The greens will be up here, so I can kind of just tap in and put some greens. See, I'm just putting some greens like there. Kind of splatter in some greens too around. And we can splatter in some nice purples. So, that's that magenta color, mixing with that. So it's still a little dry in here. I might have to just go in and put some water, because I do want this to bleed a little bit. See, it's just nice purple colors. I'm gonna be tapping. Let that bleed. I'm going to have the wisteria coming down this way. Get a little more blue. We're having fun here. We're just tapping color. I want to put a little more blues kind of up in here. Go ahead and do that. Now we're going to start to let this kind of dry a little bit. You can still add more colors down here if you want, but it's slowly going to be soaking up into the paper now, all these colors. I'm lifting up some of this paint and just putting it on my paper towel just to get rid of it. And move that paint around. So we're going to work with, we can work with the big brush or the little brush, making kind of like dollop kind of things. First, if you want to make like a, take your cadmium, excuse me, I am so all over the place with my brain because of my traveling. You take your Princeton long round brush, because it's a nice point on it. You want to kind of put this like green vine going downward. Now it is very wet still, so I'm going to have to make this kind of thick, minimal water. So I've got the peacock and the yellow, pretty thick like butter, right? And then I'm just going to put a little line, see how it goes, going downward. See that? And then the blooms are kind of going to sit off of that. It is spreading a little bit. We can try and see how we can add some of the leaves. Just making simple strokes to like leaves. Now it's coming out kind of like a blob, so I might just remove some of the paint. I can manipulate it. All right, these didn't come out too bad. You get the feeling where they're gonna go, right? So then we're gonna put some, I'm gonna grab back our bigger brush, some bloppy kind of blooms. I don't know if we would call them bloppy, but they're like just kind of like a flat, ovalish kind of petal. So I'm taking my ultramarine blue, and again the pink, making a pretty purple. Just keeping the purple family, you know, blue purples. I'm just gonna just see how wet it is. It's still fairly wet. See, I'm just kind of going like this, pushing down, trying to get a little more of a shape while it's still damp on the paper. Grab some of this violet, what is this, lilac color, mix it in here. It's kind of doing a spread. We don't want it to do too much of that. Tapping off excess water on my paper towel. So I'm just kind of going like this, building up. See that? Getting a little bit darker. We will get more serious with the blooms as this paper starts to dry. But you see how I'm just kind of tip tapping on each side. Get a little more blue. And the lighter color will kind of fade into the background. The dark color will sit up here a little more. Get that verdtier blue, make it a little thicker. Just these little taps. it was so pretty to see the wisteria vines all over London on the houses. So that kind of come down even more here. I might put, you know, I'm going to vision some more over here. So I would go back and grab my 8. Maybe more one kind of curving down here. And another one down here, kind of curving down. See how I just grab a little, I have some burnt umber here. This will be the branch. Just loosen up some burnt umber. The branch. Still damp up here. Maybe add a little neutral tint into it, a little darker. It's still bleeding. Just going to do like a little lines. See how much it bleeds. This is the branch coming down and kind of going off to the side. And then we have the cascading blooms. Move the branch out this way. It did bleed a little more than I wanted it to. I'm just going to play with this, kind of pushing that paint bleeding even more. And again, just, you know, make your simple, I call them like a tail almost coming off the branch. It could be up, over, and down. It could be down, right? And then off that branch, we do the wisteria blooms. So again, I have like deep cadmium, deep, excuse me, ultramarine deep blue. Oh, brain fog. And I'll mix some magenta or bright rose with that, like a nice purple. And that may be a little bit darker, but that's okay because in some of the blooms are darker in certain spots. See that? Up top more, much more darker. And you can add some bright fuchsia kind of color kind of popping up in here. And again, you go back into this section here, starting to dry a little bit. See, just tip tapping. It would be bigger on top, so it's kind of going in a triangle kind of formation. And just like that. See there? Just tapped it. Getting that lilac color. Just doing my little tippy taps. And you have this really pretty, delicate bloom. And then I'm getting back and grabbing some darker color and having that bleed as well. So, it's bleeding a little too much over here. At this point, I would let your paper dry, so to keep playing it, so keep bleeding. If you do want that subtle soft look, you can kind of keep playing on adding some more deeper color as it's drying here. I'm going back in and adding it. It's still very, very wet. Sometimes I speed up my process by using a hairdryer for the YouTube TV sake. But you see I'm just kind of tapping. And I'll do some bigger ones up here. And then little ones kind of hanging down. Just like a line like this. And then bigger ones tippy tap. Right? Get a little bit darker as we go along. A little more concentrated with the color. Simple. Taking off some of the color up here, making it a little bit darker. It's starting to dry now, so this section is still very wet. Just kind of pushing down on this big brush that's got a rounded tip. Now I'll get like thicker paint. See? Really concentrated paint. Maybe make some blooms coming out this way. Just really soft. Grabbing a little bit darker paint. Kind of just tapping in here. Now, I am going to definitely wait till it dries at this point because it's starting to get a little too muted. and then we're going to come back. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to kind of quick dry it with a hairdryer and come back. Okay, now that I dry that, you can see I can go back in with my brushes now. Everything's dry, and kind of put the little green line going downward, right? You can have some little spikes off the side of that, which will have blooms. So I got the line downward here, and see little spikes kind of off the side. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. See, the line downward, and curve little spikes off the side of some of the vines, and then they have little blooms coming off that. Okay, does that make sense? And then for the leaves, just make simple leaves. They can kind of like, okay, make a little bit darker green. So pointy little 1, 2, kind of 1, 2, and I have a little stem kind of going off that 1, 2, see 1, 2, one way, two way, connect them and go off. I'm just doing them very quickly so you understand what I'm saying. They can kind of come up here, connect them, just like that. And just make as much as you feel like you need. Some can be hanging downward like this. Again, it's just the 1, 2 stroke. So 1, 2, connect them, right? That's how I would talk about it. It's like curve line, and fill it in. But you just kind of do this curve, curve, and fill it in. Curve, curve, fill it in, and use the tip of your brush, bring it down. Very simple. It is very simple. I'm telling you guys it is. Those are the leaves. And you can do as many little as you want. You can put some in between here. Oh, that's a little too bright Kelly green. They're more like a limey kind of green. Put some off here. I don't want to fuss too much with the leaves, right? And then I can fix my branch a little more. I've got that burnt umber here. It could kind of get lost. I'll add a little neutral tint to it. That's a color. It's kind of a grayish blue. And my branch got lost. I lost this way. Put a little branch going down this way and this way, and then kind of down here. You can kind of figure out where you want to put the branch. And then we're going to go back with the bigger brush and play around with the colors again. Maybe add a little more deeper purple. Pay no attention to that. And then again, push, make it a little bit thicker, push down. Just like this. And a little deeper purple using the magenta. Or see? And then you can make little teeny blooms coming off that little thing we did before, little spike, and then kind of just hang down. See? And then go back over it. So we're going to connect just this little push down on your brush, a rounded brush, connecting to that little green spike off the little stem we did. See, they're getting a little bit darker on the front. And just go on like that. Then you have a little couple ones that hang down here, just little ditzy ones. And you get a little bit bigger as you go up top. That's just really how I do it. Even make it purple. A little bit bigger. A little bit bigger ones up here. Bolder. See? It's not that complicated. It can be. Now, you know, you could make a realistic looking one. This is how I would do it for just a sweet looking, simple wisteria. And just keep adding the colors and get a little bit deeper. The purple. Just like that. And getting a little bit darker, I'm going to add some more purple, pink purple up here, just to change out the color a little bit. Just kind of tap it, tippy tap. I always say tippy tap. I like to say tippy tap. And I can add some of that down in here. Just doing a simple, like almost like a line, smaller ones down below, and just push down on the brush, get a little wider up top. And that, my friends, is your wisteria vine. See? Just pushing down. We can add the green stem in a bit. A little longer ones down below. And then push there. Don't make your life complicated. Pretty simple wisteria vines. I don't want to make you draw the particular petals. It can be really, you know, realistic. You can make it a long process or an easy, simple one that you can tell. You can tell this is a wisteria vine. Right? And you can kind of be creative with this. You can add more colors in the background. Don't have to be the purples. It could have been more blues. You know, I could have done more darker tones up top. In here, see, I got some blue, it's purple, pink purple, and put some more greens in between. Like, I might go back and grab my pretty green color and add some more greenery up in here. Maybe through, like I didn't add the greens in here. Kind of connect them. Maybe put some leaves down in between here. Play around with it. You know? Maybe even splatter some green also. This is just a quick wisteria study. Add some straightforward leaves up this way. And you can just add some green, kind of wiggle it. That's how I would do it, guys. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Tell me, you know, if you like painting spring flowers loose this way, if you like a more realistic approach. I'm curious to see which way you guys like to go. Sometimes I like to do loose flowers like this. I like the look of them. I feel like it's not intimidating to paint. Some people find it intimidating. I find it less intimidating. I'm adding this in the verdtier blue, which is just, you know, me in that color. We're attached to the hip these days, right? I'm going off to the side. Add more interest. I didn't show you, but it's getting a little muddy over there. I'm going to just add a little more interest off to the side. Sometimes that's fun to do. You don't have to have the painting always in the center. You can have it kind of way off to the side as well. Just makes it more interesting. Okay. So I think we're done. And we're going to reveal our painting. This is the fun part. Taking off the tape. It doesn't stick on the paper. It always sticks on the actual cardboard. And that's it. That's our wisteria vine. Simple, loose watercolor tutorial today. Let me know if you found this easy or helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, have fun playing, guys. Just purple colors, splattering it, some of it. Just see how I just tapped it on the sides? And you can do those little kind of hooks over each little green. And if you want to go back in, I'm just taking another brush. I want to go back in once it dries again. And then really just paint in some, maybe a few serious looking, you know, petals. It's always kind of makes it more interesting and unique, you know, just changes it up. Add your green in. That's what I would do. I would play around. There you go. So take care, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. You know, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't hit the bell notification button, please hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial is up. And thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.